Alrighty, and we are back at it today with another beautiful trading day. Markets again were a little bit slower, but we had a few nice gappers that, although they did pull back, did give us some pretty nice setups for some good risk reward entries. I'm not gonna lie, it feels great to have a $100 plus day again, which is really nice that since we're trading with about $1,000 position sizes right now, that's over a 10% profit day based on our position sizes. So it's a really, really good day. And it feels so good because, you know, the beginning of this month was just really slow. There was the lack of your typical gap and go stock. So a lot of the stocks we were looking at, they were gapping up like crazy. And then instead of, doing the go part, they would just, start pulling back kind of aggressively at first and then just start fizzling off. And then the rest of the day, they would just, totally sell off. And that was kind of happening again today with AIM, which was our lead gapper on our watch list. And yesterday we had VT, and then on Friday last week we had YTEN, and this AIM today just kind of continued that pattern. It's kind of like a little gap and crap pattern. But at least since we've seen it in the past, we were ready for it today, and we were able to capitalize on it right away and have a nice little trade. And then we got one more really nice runner on the live stream as well. So we had 2 trades on the live stream, which is really cool because we haven't had 2 trades on the live stream in quite some time, because I was kind of focusing on that second half of the morning trading, which I'm doing a little bit less of because I've realized after 10:30, after 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm a little fatigued because I'm waking up here at around 6:30 a.m. And by the time the market opens, it's 3:30 p.m. over here. So, I've kind of already had a full day. So if I'm trading 5, 6, 7, 8 p.m. local time to me, then, you can just imagine my mind's all over the place. I'm exhausted. And then I still have to edit a video. So it doesn't really work that well. So really for me, focusing on that first 1 hour of the market open seems to be much nicer. All right, guys, I really just want to be focusing on AIM and then BRN as well, because that was the second trade we made today. So let's head over to the charts and get right over it. Also, don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoy this content. And if you are totally new here, I would love to have you join the channel, have you join the challenge, and have you join the live streams when we go live every morning at 9:15 a.m. to trade the market open. So if you have not subscribed already, what are you doing? Go ahead and subscribe, and I will see you tomorrow. All right, here we have it, guys. AIM, this was our top gapper on our watch list today that we reviewed in the live stream. So 8.3 million market cap, 8.2 million shares outstanding. A little bit slow mover though. Check out dollar volume, 5.8 million. So, it ended up not being that great. This is their long-term chart right now. So, pretty bearish trend, all going in one direction. But today, big gapper. And it was one of the bigger gappers today, and everything was looking really good. A little bit of news and kind of pulling back to that $1 support area. So let's check out what it looks like intraday, because this is really what got me excited. Pre-market, big gap up here all the way to 174, about 100% rally. But then the pullback pre-market was really aggressive, about 41%. That's not a really good sign. Not to mention that 170 area, check out the long-term chart again, the daily chart down here, 170, 189, big resistance. So I wasn't really too confident that this thing was really gonna, gap and go. I kind of understood that there was big volume here. It kind of was looking a little bit like VT that we traded yesterday. Let me just pull that one up a little bit. VT. Did I spell that right? Yeah. So, similar situation with this one where, huge gap in the morning, but then pulls back in the right after the market opens because big resistance, and just didn't really hold it. And then again, YTEN from yesterday, just similar situation. Let me just scroll back a little bit further because this was on Friday, but same thing here. So this one gaps up. Actually, it gapped up pretty big in the evening, and but then it has another run pre-market, 49, 50%, and then again, big long-term resistance here, and just totally gets sold into. So I kind of had a feeling that that's what we might see with AIM, and that's why I didn't want to buy it when the market opened. I was waiting for a bigger pullback first, and we kind of got it, but not as aggressive as I was waiting for. So I was thinking a pullback maybe to like 1.02 or 1.03, which we did get at one point. And this is kind of the original trade I was looking for. But, we had big buyers here and not that many sellers on this candle. So I was thinking, I bet you there's a bunch of buyers at 1.05. There's big support in this area. So I'm going to go ahead, get a little bit more aggressive. I placed my order at 1.06. And then, we had a nice little pop in this area. But I didn't like the fact that the pop wasn't that aggressive. I was really hoping that, in just one candle, we would see maybe 113 or maybe 112 or even 111. But we did see 111 for a second, but then we pulled back right away. And I didn't really like that. So I ended up kind of just getting out of this one. I just didn't really feel comfortable holding it because I knew there was the chance of this, continuing pulling back here was really, really high back to $1. And that's kind of ultimately what happened. I wasn't really expecting this kind of double top here, which we got. So I did leave a little bit of profits on the table, but we still had a 3% trade, which is $30 with our small position sizes right now. But in the future, as we start trading with $10,000 position sizes by the end of this challenge, that would have been a $300 profit trade. And, do you really want to risk those $300 and, maybe get $400 or $500 out of it? But then a chance of, losing 600. To me, I didn't see the risk reward there. So I just kind of got out of the trade, and I definitely don't regret it at all because this doesn't always happen. And, sometimes it does. And then you get a little bit of FOMO, but, yeah. Buying this back here at this pullback to 1.02 would have been a really, really good trade. I was watching something else at the time. I don't really remember, but this would have been a really, really nice one. I was watching this part right here at 1.02. Would have been really nice. 4%. I don't know. If next time I would probably do something like this, or yesterday maybe I would have done something like this. You just don't get them all. Sometimes your attention is kind of you can't focus on everything, I guess you can say. Okay, so I said I was only going to talk about one more stock, and that's BRN, which we will talk about. But I also want to talk about REXN, which was our second runner of the day. It was the second one on our watch list that I really wanted to trade today because it absolutely took off. And you can see it here. I didn't notice this at the time, right here, 67%. I didn't notice that at the time, but I do want to talk about that. But first, let's talk about BRN, which was not on the gapper. It was not on our gap scanner. And the reason, obviously, it wasn't on our gap scanner is because it was not gapping up pre-market. It made a little bit of move right here. I think it was 7%. But when I scanned at 8%, I mean, 8 o'clock in the morning, it was not, it did not gap yet. So that's why it was not on our scanner. I missed this one. It was on our secondary scanner. So what happens when the market opens? This scanner right here, it was popping up on it, but I missed it. I totally overlooked it. You can see it right here, BRN. Really, really nice. $10 million volume, 13 million market cap, 5.8 million volume today. Shares outstanding right here, 8.2. So this thing looks really, really good. And it also had news. What was the news, by the way, today? So let's quickly check here. Oh yeah, so it's so funny, the news. They had good financial results, I guess you can say. They had a quarterly loss, but it was not as bad as expectations. So their stock is up, 71% today. Actually, at one point it was up 160% today. So, if your company loses money, you can still go up 160% just because people thought it was going to lose even more money. And I don't know, I sometimes find that really, really funny. We missed this whole run up, but let me just zoom in one more time. And then the 5-minute chart down here and the daily chart over here. So we missed this run up, which is totally fine. It was a little unfortunate because I've been waiting for a stock to be gapping that powerful. But whatever, it just happens sometimes. You miss it. And then it pulls back to $2, which was really nice. And this could have been a really good little support bounce over here. Maybe score 11% in just a few moments. I mean, this could have been a really, really good support line bounce. And the reason that is because, we break out at 2%, we go up 30% from $2. That's huge. So whenever you break a major resistance level and you run up 30% from that, there's a really good chance that, the stock's going to pull back to former breakout territory. And that's this area. So, buying at $2 or maybe waiting for a little bit more to support come in here at 1.94 could have been a really good entry. Yeah, we should have really done that one actually. And then, it pops up 14% if you had a perfect entry, perfect exit, which, is not really what you should be looking for, but, it probably would have been possible to have about a 10% return on this trade pretty easily in just 1 minute. I mean, that's really, really nice to make 10% in 1 minute. Not to mention there's huge volume. So, executing this trade with, $10,000 would have been pretty easy to do. You would have not been affecting the market too much. Yeah, and then this thing just kind of starts pulling back. And I had a really good feeling that it was going to pull back to 1.5 because 1.5 was a really long-term support and resistance area. Let's quickly go back to the long-term chart. You can see here, 1.5, just a constant support zone. We had this big first touch here. We had a pullback to this area with another pullback to this area. And then we had that final crack from this area. And then right here, you can see we had a retest here before we had a big dump. And 1.5 to 1.59, I had a feeling that this is going to pull back to this area and find some tremendous support. And not to mention, the markets usually love those whole numbers. They like $1, they like $2, they like $3, they like 50 cents. So $1.50 is just a massive psychological level where there's going to be limit orders. And guess what? There's my limit order as well. And we got a nice little pop on this one. So with a with a $1,000 position size, we made about, an 8.4% return on this trade, give or take a little bit, in this first little run up. So this whole trade took about 6 minutes. Not too bad. I was thinking though, my original kind of hope was that we might reach 169 and then maybe even break past 1.7, and I wanted to sell into that, but I don't know, just a lot of resistance here, and we left maybe 2% on the table, which is fine. I don't regret that because we would have had a hold through this big red candle, and that, who knows what I would have done in that red candle. I probably would have done something really, really like not smart. This thing was just a bunch of good trading opportunities. Honestly, taking profits here was a really good idea, but then, buying back here 1.53 or 1.54 and then selling again right here at 1.68 as we have a little breakout from this double top, that's again 10% profit. So this trade, BRN, had so many multiple opportunities. It was just amazing. I mean, we could have traded this probably 3 times. Granted, we have a cash account, so we can't trade that many times with this small account challenge. But as we go into our margin account and as we're able to trade unlimited times, this would have been one of those trades that, one trade here, right? That was our first one. Second trade right here, 8% gain possibly. Another pullback to 1.54. This one would have been kind of sketchy, but, could have landed another 7-8%. Another trade right here at 1.53. And this thing runs up, to 14%. I mean, and then guess what? Pulls back again, 1.58. Boom, another trade, another 7% trade. We could have probably made like $500 on this one stock today with only $1,000 position sizes, and it's still doing it. Who knows how much longer this thing's going to keep bouncing off of 1.5? And that's why I felt fairly confident with getting aggressive at 1.53, because these things, they just, this is such a big psychological level, and it was just really nice stock. I loved watching BRN, and I want to give a quick shout out to Anis. You called it out in the chat room. I would have never traded BRN. I don't think I would have seen it on the secondary scanner. So I definitely appreciate it. Good work calling that one out today. REXN. Let's talk about that one next. Whew, and it just keeps on going, guys. It just keeps going. So on our morning watch list, I like to really lately I've been wanting to just focus on one stock at a time. And I've kind of boiled it down to our top 2. So we have our number 1 gapper, and that was AIM today. And then we always have kind of like our backup, our secondary gapper, and that was REXN. And after the market opened, I kind of stopped watching it because it pulled back a little bit like AIM, but it didn't have a lot of volume, and it wasn't really that interesting anymore. But let's kind of check out what was going on here. So this thing, gapping up 55% above major resistance levels and just kind of hanging out in this area. But then it wasn't able to hold its highs, and guess what? It pulls back about 22, maybe 25%. Not that bad as a pullback as AIM, which was, what was that? About 40% pullback, which is just a really aggressive pullback. The reason I want to talk about this one is because it really held its highs well, and it had similar stats to AIM with the small market cap, originally below 10 million, and a float that was also, I think, below 5 million. I think their float's like 3 million or something like that, maybe 4 million. So really nice small float, big volume, and it's up on news. Let me quickly check what the news was again. RX Pharmaceuticals, license. Yeah, okay, so they had an agreement with a larger company, another biotech company. That's always good. Any sort of partnership, any sort of collaborations with these companies, especially a small cap working with a larger cap company, is always good PR, and that always is a great catalyst. So it held its highs here, and this is what I really want to talk about, because if I start seeing support holding after about 15 to 30 minutes, so like AIM just kind of sold off, but REXN, 15 minutes to about 10 o'clock, it really holds its highs in this area very, very nicely. And then it starts moving up here. Has a nice little pull up here, pulls back, and then breaks out. And this breakout was a 22% move. Really, really nice. I want to start getting more aggressive when I see stocks holding its highs right here. I think it's just a really good opportunity because you have tremendous support right below it. So we pulled all the way back to $2, which let me quickly see where that is. So 2.2 roughly is where we pulled back. And on the daily chart, that's all the way back to here. That's a really big pullback. And we're in some major support territories. So some former tops. Let me just zoom in a little bit here. 2.2 is right down here. Let me see if I can maybe draw a line that really depicts that a little bit better. 2.12. Maybe go a little higher, 2.2. So yeah, many tops in this area. It's not super accurate, but you kind of get the point. It was former resistance many times, right? And then we broke out of this area, and then we pulled back from this area. Then we tried to break out, but got rejected. And then boom, today, pulled back to this area at 2.2. 2.2. And then the first 30 minutes of the day just really holds this area. I think just throwing a limit order in this one, you have really good risk reward. Even if you pull back, I don't think there's a chance that it's probably going to dip more than 5% before at least retesting this area, in which time you can close the trade. Yeah, this would have been a really good move today. I mean, this run up to this resistance zone at 2.8, coming back to that 180-day moving average on the daily chart right here, you can make 25% just like that. Now there's probably no way I would have held it into this secondary run up, but imagine you did that, you'd be almost 100% returns. Let's see, 70% returns on that trade if you had a good perfect entry and perfect exit, which is always a whole different argument. But still, 70% move. That's exactly what we're looking for. That's why I like trading small caps. Beautiful stock. I don't know what it's going to do long term, but today it was just everything that you've ever wanted and looked really good. And we saw this yesterday. I forgot the ticker, but we saw this exact setup where the first half of the morning, or that first 15-30 minutes, doesn't do anything. It's a total snoozer. I say that wrong every day. But then it starts gaining momentum around 10 o'clock. And boom, just whacks to the upside. This was a really nice run. So again, tomorrow I'm going to be keeping an eye on for something like REXN, especially because tomorrow I think we might have 3 trades to make. So yeah, it should be good fun. All right, guys, that's everything for this video. I hope you found value in it. It was really good fun trading with all of you guys today. Don't forget to hit that like button if you haven't done so already, and consider subscribing if you are new here. I would love to have you just join the challenge, join the channel, join everything, join the streams. I will see you guys then again tomorrow, first thing at 9:15. Till then, guys, like always, stay safe and make some awesome trades. Ciao, ciao.